Okay, guys, so we're going to continue the process of klipot, the topic of klipot. I feel like I'm beating a dead horse with it. Do you guys feel like you get it?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to take it one level further because I feel like it's important information, but then I'll move on to fun stuff the next session. So within the klipot, part of the klipot is our ego. Okay, our ego is desire to receive for the self alone. It's when you look at the world through the lens of you, right? It's broken down into anger, judgment, jealousy, control, pride, hate. All of those are branches, and that's the separation, right, that we said between our body and soul. So whenever you're acting from that place of ego, okay, know that you're creating, that you're separating. You're disconnecting from source. So the ego is literally the force of Satan, and he wants you to forget about the fact that the 99% exists. Okay? When that ego comes into play, imagine it's Satan wanting to think it's all the 1%. It's all the physicality. It's what you see. You made that project happen. You messed up on that thing. You did a good job. You're a good mom. You're a good whatever. It's you, right? But what do we really know? What is it? You're a vessel, and it's the light shining through you. If you didn't have that blessing from the light, you would not be the good mom. That deal would not happen. So part of taking that energy back from the ego is recognizing that you're just the vessel and that you were blessed with that ability, right? Someone asked before, if you're telling me to restrict my ego, you're telling me not to have confidence, okay? Confidence that comes from ego is not really confidence. Okay, it's coming from the 1%. Okay, real confidence is knowing that the light is always behind you, that whatever you're doing, the blessings will follow. Not, I did something in the 1%, I see it, therefore I believe it, right? What is certainty? Certainty is not seeing it and still believing it. When you say, I believe in God, right? But you don't act like you believe in God. Do you really believe in God? Right? So when you're not connecting that all these things, your blessings in life are really from the creator, are really from the light, rather than this 1% ego that comes out. It's kind of like disconnecting from your belief in God. The other part where it's not real confidence, imagine when it comes from entitlement. I deserve this. I deserve to be treated better. I deserve to get that promotion. I deserve to have this life, right? Or I didn't get this, or you're dwelling. Like every time you're dwelling, it's coming from that place of ego, from me. It's the me-centered perspective, instead of recognizing that it's from the creator. When you come from your ego, you're prevented from feeling other people. So if I'm feeling my pain, I cannot feel you. Does that make sense?
No. Wait, say that again?
If I'm feeling me, if I'm feeling like you hurt me, you upset me, I'm in this zone of like, you did that to me. I'm not feeling you. I'm not feeling what's going on for you. What happened for you?
Your own vessel is too full to make space.
Yeah, what?
Is it like empathizing? You're not.
You can't empathize. You can't put yourself in their shoes. You can't be in a place of sharing consciousness. You're in me-centered consciousness. You have to always be in sharing consciousness, right? It doesn't mean be a doormat. It doesn't mean put up with people being mean to you or rude to you or putting you down, but it means coming from that place of understanding that there has to be that circuitry, right? It's not take, because remember in Kabbalah 1, if you're for yourself, this is the size of my cup. But if I'm constantly getting more chai to share with you and to share with you and to share with you, guess what? I can receive unlimited amount of chais because I'm going to be sharing it. So you have to, in whatever you're doing, in your parenting, in your relationships, at work, everything has to be from this sharing consciousness.
But we're constantly thinking about us and what we need to work on to be better. So isn't that
I see what you're saying, but you're not looking at it. Okay, so open it up a little more. Take it a step further. Give me an example. Okay, so can I give you one? Tell me if this is what you're saying. So if I'm saying, I need to work on my judgment.
Okay, judgment.
Okay, I know. I need to work on my judgment. And look at me, I'm working on my judgment.
It's the attitude.
Where is that coming from? Or, oh God, I'm always judging. Look at who I am. Where is that coming from? As opposed to, I'm a human, I'm a soul, I'm a neshama, I'm here to grow. This is my tikkun. We all have it. No one's exempt, right? Everybody has a purse, a bag, the example, sand on their body that you're here to clean off. And you're working on it. Do you get the difference? You're working on it.
Okay. So, but when challenges come your way, you have to have a sharing consciousness?
Open it up. Give me a challenge.
You can use me if you've had anything.
Give an example, Anita, then.
Let's say someone robbed from you. Let's say you're going to school, I don't know, whatever challenge. Let's say you have a difficult child. Let's say someone was rude.
Yeah.
Okay? Open it up.
Difficult child.
Yes.
Okay,
So now
let's
what?
say that.
How you react to the child?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you heard of those Persian grandmas
Yeah.
who say, look what you did to me.
Mm-hmm.
How could you do this to me?
So you,
As opposed to your mindset being, this is a person who's learning.
right.
How could I create that circuitry? They're not targeting you. They're here as a challenge, first of all, for your growth.
Right. So, but when we ask the question, why is this in my movie? That's not a. Like,
I see what you're saying.
I'm kind of
You're saying, why are we,
mixing it up, I
you're
guess.
saying,
I
why are
don't
we
know.
focusing on
I'm not
ourselves,
seeing
saying,
it.
why is it in my movie? And you're saying,
Yeah.
don't focus on me.
Right.
It's
I
two
don't-
different things. When you're saying focus on me, you're doing it for the purpose of growing and connecting to source.
Okay.
When you're coming from that place of ego, you're coming from a place of lack.
Okay.
You're
So
coming
like,
from a
you
limited
don't say, why is
consciousness.
this happening to me? I shouldn't deserve this. This shouldn't be happening to me. I'm a good person.
It's growth
Right.
mindset.
Okay.
Why is this happening for me?
Okay.
What's my lesson? Right?
Okay, I
That's
can-
like also pause, what a pleasure. You're
Can you
kind of,
expand on the sharing consciousness?
as I go through, I'll bring up examples.
Okay. Thank
Okay? And if it's not clear, we'll go over it
you.
again.
Okay, I got it.
But the one thing that I will say that I feel like I should have said more in Kabbalah 1 if I didn't is everything you're doing is for the purpose of sharing. And what does that mean? In a different way to put it would be, if you're eating food, you're eating food to elevate the energy and the light that's in the food. You're not eating it for your animalistic. You're eating it because you're elevating it, right? If I'm buying clothes, I'm not buying clothes with a consciousness of, oh my God, I'm gonna look so good in this. Maybe I will, but I'm buying it because I'm gonna feel comfortable and confident so that my inner soul could shine and I could connect to people, right? The consciousness is different.
Okay.
So even if you're scolding your child, you're not doing it as a punishment. You're doing it as a way to elevate them. It's this circuitry, right?
Yeah.
Does that sit a little bit better?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, everything has to come from that consciousness. Every single thing you do, every time you're eating, you're walking, you're everything. Everything is for the purpose of connecting, of sharing. Okay. Okay. So I said our ego prevents us from seeing anything outside of ourselves. It's kind of like you're bound by, you're imprisoned by, and you also have the lenses of your klipot in front of you. We said that we see the world through our tikkun. So take that further. We go into the tikkun, we have the klipot, and within all of that realm is now your ego. So you're seeing the world through your ego. What's in it for me? How am I going to benefit? That I don't like that. I'm judging people. Let's say when you're judging, and I'm going to go back to that example. Where are you, Rebecca? Yeah. That lady that I was talking about last week from Israel with the teeth and the spit, right? Mm-hmm. When I judged her, what did I do? I disconnected myself from her soul, from her essence. I kind of denied the spark of the creator that exists in her. And what happened?
You made your ego stronger.
Yes. It was like a superiority, like, oh my God, look at her. Ooh, I'm better, right?
Right.
That's ego. So that kind of judgment is always a short circuit. It's always you're losing light, you're disconnecting. And I'm using this as an example. I see you're like laughing, but it's because we all do it, right? There isn't anybody who doesn't have that thought, that temptation, and it comes up in different ways. So one I just said is judgment. We use judgment as a way to make ourselves feel better, right? What are you doing in that moment of judgment? You're almost stealing their light, right? You're feeling good by this unearned energy. You stole their energy, so what's gonna happen? That has to leave you. It comes from lack. So there's a concept, and I think about this often, that, none of us are perfect. We all have short circuits. We all do things that we're not proud of, right? The only time that you're judged from above is when you're judging. Okay, besides the first 2 days of Libra, which is Rosh Hashanah, where there's the scales, you're judged every time you judge. That's a really powerful one. So imagine when I'm judging that poor lady, right? I opened the doors, I opened the books. It's like the books were available of all of my negative and positive attributes. And consequences follow, right?
So God stoops to that level?
It's not God stoops, but it's an energy that exists. You're opening it up. I'm opening it, right? It's almost like, this is also a 1% example, but if I'm gonna tell on you to the IRS, you don't think the IRS is gonna look at my books too? Right? And on a spiritual level, it's not punitive, it's just kind of how it works.
If you instantaneously become aware that you judge and then you start asking for forgiveness, but in your mind, not to the person directly, does that kind of help you? Because I shouldn't have done that.
Yes.
My bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
The sooner you recognize it, and also the next time you have that challenge, don't do it. Juna.
Sometimes the judgment comes in our mind, but we don't say it.
Still. That's one step. And listen, we're all in positions where we need to judge, right? We're either counselors or we're, evaluating people based on their insurance, or we're accountants and we have to judge how they, you have to judge, right? We're always going to judge. Like the example in law school that they gave, which was so pertinent, was if you're alone at night as a female in a dark alley and you see a man coming towards you, you're going to judge, right? We have that for safety reasons, but we all know where we need to not judge and where it's okay to judge for positive reasons. Okay.
What should we say to stop in our mind to not?
So what I say is, none of this matters. Just connect to their soul. Just connect to their soul, and I could just.
Okay.
Okay. Another one is control. Right? That's part of our ego. We all feel this need to have control, to be in control, to control things. That's why we get upset when things don't go our way, right? Because we're connected to the outcome. It's like my way or it's wrong, right? We don't have that room to see that our limited 1% is not the end all be all, right? You have to be open for something else being right that's not from you. If others take control, we feel irritated, and we'll always use the excuse that, I'm just controlling because I want the best for my family, or for the company, or for the situation, or for the girls' trip I'm planning, or whatever, right? But it's still coming from that place of lack. If controlling people bothers you, we know it's a sign that we have that within us. There's almost an element of manipulation that comes in control. Like you want things your way, and it could lead to lack of honesty. You kind of manipulate things a certain way to have it go your way. It makes you more complicated. Okay, the next one I'm going to talk about is pride. So pride is kind of like self-respect, but there's two. There's a healthy self-respect, we kind of discussed this earlier, and then like an unhealthy, like ego respect, where you're like, everybody has to appreciate me. Everybody has to say thank you to me. Look what I did. Look how I managed that. Look how I did this event. Look how I did, right? And when you chase respect, Hannah, you know who says that?
It runs away from you.
Yes. Yes, I think it was the Baal Shem Tov. Did you say it? Okay, someone said it. Someone said it.
Someone
But
was.
as you chase respect, it runs away from you, right?
Talmud.
Respect has to come to you. You have to earn it. And you earn respect by giving respect. I'm going to go off and say, I remember my grandpa was really old and he had knee problems, and we're in Kanisa and he's standing up for this like young 20-something-year-old guy. And I'm like, Baba June, you're so old and it's so hard for you to get up. Why are you standing up for like a young kid? You don't have to stand up for a young kid. And he said, the respect you give is the respect you get.
Wow.
So that always stuck with me. So healthy respect is respecting yourself as a channel of light. So you can do anything with the help of the light, right?
Can you repeat that? Respecting yourself
Is just understanding that you're a channel of the light, right? And you can do everything. Like you have that confidence. You have that pride that you're able to do it
That's a
with the
healthy
light.
respect.
Yes. Because you're connected to the light, with the backing of the light, with the blessings of God, rather than me, I did it. So the unhealthy respect would be allowing people to treat you badly, because when you do that, you're not honoring that light within you, right? Which is hard. These are all theories, but when you come to practice it, it's a little bit tricky.
It's such a fine line because it can feel like when someone doesn't like respect what you're doing or something, it's such a fine line between like I am a channel for light and also I'm being taken advantage of or abused, you know? It's
Yes.
a fine line.
Do you want to give an example?
You
No?
know?
Oh, yeah, it's a fine line. We all have our own examples, but I was going to workshop it.
I think it's just a fine line because like you think that when people are not respecting you, that they are being rude to you. So like I feel like, you know, it's hard to like differentiate between the two. So it's like your own standards of what is disrespect. How do you navigate? I don't know if I'm saying it right. How do you figure out what's disrespectful and what is being bad to you? Because you're like, there's a fine line of like allowing others to be rude to you, but at the same time, we can't let someone, we don't want someone to disrespect them. I don't know how to explain it.
I get what you're saying. So let's say someone comes up to you out of nowhere and just cusses you out. We all
Yeah.
agree that that's
Yeah.
blatant disrespect.
Mhm.
But maybe another form that we don't recognize would be, I don't know, if they leave out your child and you always include their child. And you're kind of like, right? So with that, this is my take. This is not anything deep within Kabbalah, but I would say kind of put yourself in their shoes and have empathy with where they're coming from. If they didn't invite your kid for whatever reason, maybe it's a lack within them. Maybe they're insecure about their kid. Maybe there's something else. Maybe their kid doesn't get along with your kid. Maybe they didn't have room in their car. Maybe they're at capacity. So like not to take it personally, like as a personal like disrespect. Did that answer the?
It did. Try to understand where they're coming from.
Yeah,
Because their situation is.
because they have their own movie.
Isn't that the shared thing you just said? What was the
Shared
word?
consciousness.
Yeah, shared consciousness. Yeah.
But if you're in the shared consciousness, then would you always think of, okay, I'm just going to include all the children because I want to respect all the children and not want anything.
If that
like
makes sense for you.
Okay.
So let's say your kid really doesn't like one of the kids. One kid is mean to your kid, right? Overriding what your kid wants because you want to be sharing and invite everybody would not be
Got it.
right. But in theory, yes. And it's hard. These things, it's all nuanced and it's hard and it's personal. And everyone's line is going to be in a different place. Hate. So hate is the ultimate disconnect from the Creator, because when you hate someone, you're completely disregarding the light that exists within them, right? You can decide to part ways. You could not hang out with them. You could not be their friend. But that level of hate is a complete disconnect. There's one more, and then we're going to do a little workshop. Oh, anger. Anger and jealousy. So 2 more. So anger is also connected to control. Anger comes from when are you angry? You're angry when things didn't go your way, right? When you expected it to go a certain way and they didn't. When you expected someone to behave a certain way or not behave a certain way and they didn't. So that's completely ego. I thought you should do this. You didn't do this, right? Imagine like there's 2 guys and their business deal that they've been working on for months fell through, right? And one dwells and is angry and can't get over it. And the other one's like, okay, done. Let's move on. Let's cut our losses. What could we learn from this? Let's go. The one who's dwelling, how could they do this to me? I treated them so well. I worked so hard. He's just spiraling. And every minute of that, right? When we dwell, we're disconnecting from the light. I wanted it my way. That's all from me. Whereas the guy who's able to move on is able to see like, okay, I don't know, it wasn't meant to be. There's a different purpose. The universe is taking me in another direction. Something better might come along. Whatever those words are, understanding that we're not in control, that God is in control.
Is there healthy anger? Or is anger just Satan?
So the one thing that Judaism says, I don't know where, maybe in the Talmud, it says it should completely remove is anger.
Mm-hmm.
Anger and chametz. That's the one thing. It doesn't, it's like balance. Everything in Judaism is balance, but anger is you just got to get rid of it. Yeah, and psychologically we know underneath anger is really sadness. It's really being hurt from whatever didn't go your way, that you wanted your way or how you expected things to happen. It's kind of like being addicted to having things going your way. And when they don't, it's unnerving. It's also explained that when you're angry, it's like idol worship. And it's explained that when someone is angry, it's almost like their soul, I don't want to say it incorrectly, but how I understood it is kind of like your soul makes room for a negative soul to enter. So when you look at the eyes of an angry person, something is possessed.
And you're not supposed
Possessed.
David just posted something.
Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah, he said-
Of an angry
It's like just
person?
look at their
Literally
forehead or
sometime
something.
Yeah.
yesterday. Yeah, like
Yeah.
within like the last 48 hours. He's like never
It was a
looking.
Yeah.
repost.
Don't
He-
look into their eyes.
Because you're
Don't
doing
look
it
into
in
them
your
because
eyes.
Like
It's
being
just-
in anger, never looking.
Yeah.
It's like, oh wow.
Yeah.
It's true.
Don't sit across them. Like, sit
The
to
other
side.
thing is I don't eat in the presence of someone who's angry.
Really?
So
The
it's
food consumes it?
yeah, so what's happening, this is a tangent, but what are we doing when we bless our food? What's happening?
Elevated.
Yeah, you're putting energy in there. You're literally injecting energy that you're then going to
No
consume.
family dinners, don't eat with
Yeah.
the kids.
So when you're with someone who's angry, that food is taking on that energy, and you don't want to put that in your body.
But can't your consciousness override?
You can. You can.
But that probably takes a lot of spiritual effort.
Yeah, you can. Yeah. So I did a semester in Amsterdam during law school, and I remember on the news they had something about cows grazing on hemp, and like, you know what hemp is, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and how when they went to be slaughtered, they were so relaxed and chill that their meat tastes different. So
Kosher.
so it's not that the hemp made the meat taste different. It's that the energy in their body, right? So we all know we absorb energy. So that's why don't look at their eyes. Be careful with eating or drinking. Water takes on that energy a lot. So what you drink around someone, or more when you're angry, maybe you don't eat.
That's the stress eating.
That's really funny.
Sorry, I asked.
No, yeah, we all do. We all do. Okay, and then jealousy. Okay. Yeah?
David.
I should be listening to his stuff.
You guys are on the same wavelength.
So it just happened to be the next thing to talk about. So there's positive and negative aspects to jealousy, right? When you're jealous of someone, what's happening now that we've had this class? What are you feeling? Exactly, it comes from lack. But what are you thinking? Are you thinking I don't want them to have it?
You want it.
You're thinking,
It's
why
your
don't I
desire.
have it?
Correct. Did he say this too?
No.
Okay.
But I literally had
Damn!
no, but I literally had that thought.
Yes.
And I saw something on social media that irked me, but not because I was jealous of them, but I'm like, that would be nice to have. But I felt like the old me would have been like, oh, those bitches. But today I was like, no, that would be nice to have. Sorry.
So I love that. So there's two parts to this. She's real. So one is when you see something in someone else, it's not necessarily that you don't want them to have it. It's that you also want to have it.
That's still considered jealousy.
It's
then?
coming from your lack, yes. But the difference that I'm going to say that we can shift to is if you're feeling that, that means it's within your realm of possibilities. That's why the Creator put it in front of you. So it's something for you to be like, ooh, how could I earn to get that? Right? So, yeah. I
So
think we all
what's
got
the
it.
positive and what's the negative?
So the negative is when you are jealous of someone, you kind of zap their energy. You kind of take, and it doesn't have to be because you're a bad person. Like let's say, I'm sorry, Rebecca Swifferty. I love her lipstick. I don't know. I love the way she's with her kids. I love how musical she is, her voice, whatever it is, right? And I'm like fixated on it. What will end up happening is you're almost like that feeling, you kind of take energy from her by being jealous. Maybe if I articulate it, maybe if I act on it, but even that feeling zaps her energy.
That's where Ayin Hara comes from, that you're not supposed to like flaunt your blessings or successes because it can cause other people to be jealous and zap your energy.
But what happens when you zap their energy? Did I get her energy?
No.
What? Well, for a second I do. For a second when you say those stupid bitches, you feel good. And then what?
It's lost.
I didn't earn it. So we both lost.
There's chaos.
So does that go into your klipot?
Yeah, of course it does.
Okay.
Now my clip of jealousy is stronger. My clip of jealousy, right?
Wait, will she feel it that you took it, even if she has no
That
idea?
energy of blessings will diminish. So maybe, God forbid, you get in car accidents, things happen, that business deal didn't go through. You lose blessings, you lose energy. It comes out in however way it comes out. It's not one per one. It's not, I love her lipstick and now her lipstick broke. It could be, but it's not always like that.
So does that happen every time someone has that thought? Like, can the same person keep stealing your energy every time they see you, or like, how do you protect that?
So, who?
Prayers.
So, okay, one, prayers, recognizing it's from the light, and then not putting a stumbling block in front of people.
Not flaunting.
Not flaunt. Yes, when you flaunt it, what are you doing? You're making it easy for someone to short circuit. Anytime you cause someone to short circuit, it's on you. Does that make
And
sense?
humility protects it.
So I'll give another example. If I'm wearing a very sexy dress in front of a married man, and the married man is mean to his wife or has thoughts about me or whatever, okay? I cause disharmony. Maybe he just goes home and he sees his wife and the wife is with the kids and the eye makeup is all over the place and she's exhausted, and for a second he has like that disconnect is my fault. I lose light.
But you didn't do it with the consciousness or the
It
intention of
doesn't
creating
matter.
that.
It doesn't matter.
What
It
if
doesn't
just your
matter.
calm energy and smile like that does that for someone? What if you just
You show your feet.
But everything with a grain
what
of
if it's not? You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
everything with a grain of
Everything
salt.
with a grain of
Yeah.
salt.
Yeah.
Everyone does what they feel exactly, but that spiritual rule is what it is.
I think if your intentions are good and humble and not trying to get in, it does protect a bit. Yeah.
Can I
Why
get
do I
the
have-
Okay, so
If
say it
let's say you're
again.
going to an event like I'm gonna wear the sexiest dress because I want the husbands to look at me.
No, let's say you
That's the
don't.
negative
But
energy.
she's
But if
saying
you-
it's
Saying
not.
Fine, even if you go, okay, let me give you an example. I have a teenage daughter. Okay, my teenage daughter is like, this is how I want to dress. They shouldn't look at me. F everyone.
Yeah.
Okay,
Look at that. Yeah.
I keep telling her you can't think like that because they will look at you. And I see people in the grocery store looking, right? So we can't fool ourselves. Okay, so flaunting, going back to flaunting your blessings, when you flaunt your blessings, it's like putting a stumbling block in front of a blind person. So if you have to give certain information, you do it to people as a need basis, need to know basis, and in like a humble way, right? So that's the quote unquote conscious protection.
How does that go with materialistic things? Like, let's say you're due for a car, and your husband wants to get you a really nice car, and you say, no, I want to keep it humble. I want to be under the radar.
You could still have a nice car and enjoy it.
Still have it.
Yeah.
But doesn't that make somebody who doesn't have a nice car feel bad? Doesn't that make
I think there's an element of, listen, it could happen that someone else sees it and feels bad, but I think you have to live your life. But flaunting it, like not going up to someone and be like, oh, and guess where we're going for the winter, and guess where we're like the flaunting, having that consciousness of I'm not gonna on purpose say something.
It's the same that you can look beautiful and take pride in how you look. It's just a subtlety of like, for what purpose?
It's also everyone's own eyes. Like I feel like we all have a different vision. Like if I see somebody that's put together, like I enjoy it, and it doesn't have to be materialistic. Or like if I go to an event, I know when people are posting for themselves. Do you get what I'm saying? You can feel it. But then there's some people that are just always negative, and they're always complaining, or they're always,
Yeah.
You can't protect
You feel
yourself
it.
from those people. You know what I mean? They're just.
But if you cause unharmony to that person, it still takes, right? You still have a piece in that situation that took away from them.
But
That's
at some point, like
sad
you have to live your life, right?
When you keep worrying about being chesh, does it happen to you more?
Yes.
They say yes, the more you, yeah. But you can't live your life, I don't want to get chesh. What I'm teaching, what I'm saying is, don't put yourself out in a way to invite unnecessary.
You know how people do like the red bracelet and all that to like push off it? The Rebbe said once, like, if you don't give it energy, it won't exist. Like, don't even give it energy.
Sarah, I wanted to add. So I learned this, the definition of jealousy and not jealousy. So let's say someone has a Ferrari. Let's say I want the Ferrari. So there's two methods. I can say, why does she have the Ferrari and I don't have the Ferrari? That's jealousy. Not jealousy is saying, wow, kol hakavod, she has the Ferrari. How can I earn to get the Ferrari?
Correct.
It's like an abundance mindset.
Yeah, so it's like
there's enough for
so
everyone.
there's two. So
Yes,
when
and
you
there
see
truly
something,
is.
You can go you
Yes.
can look at it and say, "Aferin ke'in dore." How can I
Yes.
also have that? Okay, so what do I have to do to earn that?
Yes.
So that's not jealousy.
Yes.
So those are the
Yes.
two.
And
Positive and negative.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
still jealousy, but
And-
it's positive jealousy. Right? Right?
It's positive jealousy. It's yeah.
And then actually, Rabbi this week, Aaron said the only thing you should have jealousy for is to become more religious.
That's so funny.
And he said if you see people studying more, or reading more Torah, or in the books, or talking more about God, you should be jealous only of that. Nothing else you should be jealous of.
It's so funny because while I was preparing, the example that I was reading, or the person was saying, I'm teaching all these classes and sharing, and then I have to go to work, and then I see this other person doing all these acts of sharing, and I'm like, damn, he's raking in more, like. So it's funny that you said that.
If you say something nice about other people, but it's not come from jealousy, just from saying nice.
Yeah.
چقدر خوشگله یا خوشگل شدی. Not from jealousy.
Yeah.
It's still be taking.
No.
Really?
Yeah. As long as you're not false flattering, false flattery,
In Persians, they believe though when you give
compliments.
then you have to. There's something they say.
Oh yeah, let's ask her.
What is
I
that
think
thing
that's
they say
their
back?
fear of
Oh, we say bli ayin hara.
Yeah.
Like,
No, there's-
Without the
like,
evil eye.
beautiful
They say
family, bli ayin
chestnuts.
hara. Beautiful lady. That's what it is.
Wait, who's supposed to say the Blian Hara? The person saying the compliment or the person receiving?
Everyone just says it.
What does that mean? What does that mean? Yeah.
Without
Bli
the
ayin
evil
hara, there
eye.
should be no evil eye on
No
it.
evil.
Yeah.
Usually
I always say
say
Moshe.
it if I'm giving the
Like
compliment.
Was it?
Yeah.
No, inshallah.
I'll say the compliment.
So we're gonna go into one last thing if we have time. and then I can be done with this section. So before negative things,
prayers, I think.
before negative things come our way, we have certain signs. Okay, so would you like to know the signs, or you just want to like be surprised? Okay. Okay. So sometimes, and especially with water signs, you get that feeling. You just kind of feel something's not right. Right? Have anyone else ever felt that before? Like something's a little off, right? When you feel that, you feel judgment is looming, right? And it says when you feel judgment is looming around, you should humble yourself. It's not the time to go skydiving. It's not the time to, like, you know, what you're feeling is real. Lay low.
Sarah, we didn't understand it.
What didn't you understand?
Which?
I'm talking about now different ways that you could predict, have signs to know when something painful. Because remember, we started talking about pain and suffering.
When you say water sign?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Well, energetically, there's times that judgment is looming, like the 3 weeks, the 9 days, so you're not supposed to travel or do dangerous things because there is that energy.
Yes, yes. So there's windows in time, but also we feel it. Okay, so pay attention to that. It means you're being assessed. Okay, so you just want to like stay humble. It's not a time to be rude, arrogant, wear loud clothes. Okay, and I'm saying that, imagine you're going to go to court. You go to court humbly. You don't go to court wearing like, you know, something loud and high-fiving everyone on your way in. You're just kind of like a little more subdued, okay? Don't reveal yourself too much to the world. Another way is things that used to flow stop working, right? It's almost like you're getting red lights when you used to get a lot of green lights. So you kind of feel that, you know, something is coming. So what am I saying when I'm saying this? I'm not saying be afraid. I'm saying in these moments, you kind of look in to learn whatever the lesson is. So the pain and suffering isn't how you learn the lesson, right? That you proactively look for how you're gonna up yourself. People begin to share disapproval of you to you. Okay, so this is the best. Because isn't it nice to hear? Like, imagine if someone came up to you and said, you know, Sara, these are the 5 things you really need to change. It's like, great, I know what to work on. I'm not wondering anymore. People are usually our first line of defense before chaos and before some kind of challenging time. So when the creator sends you the person, whether it's a friend, whether it's a lecture, whether it's someone on TV, or however that message is coming to you, hear it. Another way you know that things might be going sour is that things are too good and you feel invincible. I know how to do it. Look at me. I am the knower of all. I got it down, right? It's kind of like you're being fattened to be pushed off the cliff. The problem with thinking you're amazing, it's like what Hannah said, is that your vessel is full. There's no room for more. Another way that you realize that things are kind of off is you start complaining about everything. Okay, when you're annoyed by everyone, you're, oh, look at that couple kissing in the corner, look at that lady's teeth, look at this, look at that. When you're overly annoyed by everyone and you're complaining, it means you have too much. Remember that from our Bread of Shame class, that when you give too much to someone, they're unappreciative and they start complaining. So complaining is usually a sign that that person received more than they're capable of.
It sounds like a lot of these things happen during like premenstrual or menstrual. Like, and so sometimes I'm like, it's that time, you know, shocking every time.
I love that you said that. So what happens?
Like, is it an energy something bad is going to happen, or is it just
what's happening when you get your period? We said this last time. What happens?
Your body's experiencing a form of death.
Yes. So what happens when you're on your period? Your negative, your left column energy, right? It's desire to receive. Hence, we discussed the mikvah. The mikvah is chesed. So when you go in there, that's how you have the tiferet. So it does kind of make sense that this is, yeah. So an example, someone would be like, okay, I'm leaving my husband. It's, you know, we've had issues for X amount of time. I'm now leaving. And imagine the husband comes and goes, what the hell? Did the problem start the day the wife left?
No.
The problem started years ago. Kind of like when someone gets an x-ray, God forbid, it comes out, you know, with something's there. Did that tumor show up the day of the scan? No. So we have to be working on this all the time, because when the challenge comes, the challenge was building for a while. It was a lot of unlearned lessons that wanted us to grow for a while that we've been ignoring until it gets to that point. Your relationship is a mirror of your relationship with God. So your relationship with people is a mirror. How you treat people is how you're going to be treated. Yeah.
But what about some people who you don't do well with, or those who really get under your skin?
Okay, who wants to answer her?
That's her tikkun.
Yeah, work on it. It's okay. You don't have to be their friends. You don't have to love them. Right?
Still have a good relationship, a healthy relationship.
Peaceful.
Yeah.
Peaceful. I wish them well. I don't harbor hatred. Right? But we don't have to be buddy-buddy.
Right, but how is that a relationship you have with God?
Okay. Would you cut them off? Let's say someone wronged me. Okay? My natural reaction is to be like, done. Done. Cut off. Is that how I would want God to treat me? No. So I stay open. I try to keep connection, but I kind of get where we are. Do you get it? But I don't hold hatred. I don't, you know, it's like, okay.
You always see the light in them.
This person, he was the messenger of whatever it was that I needed to learn. Thank you for the message, right? What a pleasure that it came from a human rather than some catastrophe. Yeah. And if it's triggering you, what's in it in you?
Can it be there to make you stronger?
It's always.
I know tikkun is like coming over it or whatever, but can't it bring you strength and
it's always strength. It's always bringing you strength.
And it redirects your whole pathway.
Yeah.
Because you think you were going this path, and then you're like, oh no, I'm gonna go.
And it's not going to be one time. Yeah. Imagine if I have a shell of anger, right? If I have the klipa of anger, imagine how strong the klipot are. It's not going to be one opportunity. It's going to be hundreds and hundreds of shells that have to be shattered. I have to keep practicing to not shut people out, for instance, who upset me over and over and over. Okay. That's it. That's it. So we did pain. We did why pain versus suffering. The pain was the momentary, smaller things. Pain was the more long-term. Pain is being slightly challenged. Suffering is when you avoid growth and then something negative comes on you. We spoke about how that fits into the different parts of your ego, which causes us the pain and suffering. Like you have to break through those egos and those klipots to get to the other side, to avoid something, suffering from happening, and how we could have clues and predict when something is coming. Did we talk about how to get through it once you're in pain?
No, not really.
Okay, I'll go through it fast.
Yeah, isn't it that you need to have certainty that it's from God?
Yes, what else? So I did say it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll do it really quickly. It's kind of embrace the process and inject joy into it. This is where what a pleasure comes in. It's what a pleasure, that I have this opportunity to learn the lesson like this rather than through something worse, right? Remember we spoke about what's one area in your life where you have a disconnect with someone, and what would it take for you to create that connection? And that's kind of the prophecy. So get there before that prophecy happens. We spoke about caring and sharing beyond your comfort zone in those times. It's especially helpful to find someone with a similar situation, because that's where you're able to give and connect the most, and you're able to help that person the most. Have certainty and ask the Creator to reveal the lesson during the difficult time. All right, that's all, folks.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Something we covered like 2 weeks